We don't often hear the word kindness used in the context of leadership. If you search Google for adjectives to describe leadership, you get a pretty good set of adjectives, including empathetic, charismatic, honest, transparent, and integrity, although that's a noun, not an adjective. But the list does not include kind. Part of the problem is that kindness is this broad idea and very easily misinterpreted. And this is why people sometimes think of kindness as equating with weakness. She's too kind, people say, meaning she's too easily manipulated. And then there are people who think that kindness means you'll always do what they want, and that if you do something they don't like, that means you're not kind. But that isn't what kindness is. Sometimes the kindest thing to do as a leader is to give someone tough feedback or even fire someone. Always being nice often leads to unkindness, as it means not being honest. So kindness is a part of leadership. But what I want to talk about in this video is not kindness in that deep sense, but actually something a bit simpler, a bit more shallow maybe. Random acts of kindness. You've probably come across the idea outside of work, helping a stranger across the street, paying for the next person's shopping, that kind of thing. There's a Wikipedia page dedicated to the idea, and there's even a Random Acts of Kindness Foundation. But what does this have to do with leadership? Well, the point I want to make is simple. As a leader, you may not be the most powerful person in your organization, but neither are you the least powerful. And while you might feel like you should use that power only in ways that clearly benefit the company or the team, I'd like to argue that sometimes you should use it just out of kindness. So first, let's think about what you actually have to play with. There's time, your own time, and that of the people you lead. Then there's advice, guidance, coaching, mentorship, these kinds of things. They use up time, so they are related to time, but they have their own value beyond just the time you're giving up. You may also have a budget. Perhaps it isn't very big and is intended just for social events, or maybe you manage a budget of millions. Either way, you have some leeway, presumably, in how you use that budget. And then depending on your organization, you may have physical resources like computers or opportunities like traveling to a conference. And no doubt there are other things you have at least some degree of control over. So these are the units of value you have available to you, which you can choose to use entirely in the interests of your team or yourself even. Or you could choose sometimes to use some of them in random acts of kindness, out of the goodness of your heart. But why should you do that? Well, first of all, if you believe in karma or anything of that kind, then you may have a built-in sense that doing good for others can repay you. But even if you don't believe in such things, think of it this way. If you really need something which someone else has and could give you, wouldn't you want them to give it to you? And if you want to be part of the kind of organization in which people behave in that way, shouldn't you do your part to encourage it, to lead by example? I'm not talking about kindness in the general world, giving money to homeless people and so on. Very good thing to do, and I would encourage you to do these kinds of things, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about kindness specifically at work. If the things I've said so far don't convince you, just remember the last time you did something truly unselfish for someone else, and remember how it made you feel. Pretty good, I bet. I hope so anyway. So what I'm saying is that by seeing someone completely unconnected to you in your organization, realizing they need something you have and giving it to them, this will make you feel good. It also very likely has the advantage of unblocking something that matters to some other part of the organization. You're all in the same company, pulling towards the same goal, hopefully, so why not help out someone in another team? But here's the final way I'd like to encourage you to think about this, particularly in regard to your own time and expertise. Why do you go to work? Think about that question. Go on, pause the video and really think about it for a minute. Okay, did you think about it? Okay, good. I imagine you probably don't just have a single answer. If you're like most people, you'll have earning money somewhere on your list, but alongside things like learning, meeting people, and so on, I bet it's fairly likely you have something that relates to what you can offer, making a difference of some kind, improving something, contributing to something. And even if you didn't have something like that in your answer, I'd be willing to bet that you wouldn't disagree that part of why you go to work is to contribute something to something bigger, something you care about. Maybe it's the company as a whole, maybe it's the people in the company, the product, the customers, whatever it is, you mostly achieve that by doing your job, leading your team, creating your product, or whatever it is you do. But you can also contribute by helping other people, giving them your time, your expertise, your advice, and your support. And this can be as tiny as sitting in the front row when a nervous colleague is giving a talk and smiling encouragingly while they speak, or sending them a note afterwards congratulating them on a good job. Or it can mean offering that colleague a regular meeting to coach them or mentor them. And by doing that, you're helping a fellow human, but you're also helping the organization, maybe just a tiny bit. And finally, like I said before, it feels good to help other people. So next time someone at work asks you for a favor or some time and your immediate inner reaction is,
Well, that has nothing to do with me, so no.
maybe reconsider. I don't mean to say you should always say yes. That's a good way to become known as the company sucker. But don't always say no either. And next time you notice that someone needs something, a smile, a kind word, some company, or something much bigger, why not give it to them? If you ask me, behaving this way is part of what can make leadership fun and make work fun. For more ways to find fun at work, check out the video that's on screen now. And if you found this video useful, please do click on the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. It makes sure you won't miss my future videos, but it also helps them to be seen by other people like you who might find them helpful. Bye. See you soon.